Good morning. It's wonderful to see everyone this morning on this beautiful Sunday morning, the first day of spring. And Thomas has something to share with us for the first day of spring, a beautiful flower that he has created.
Oh,
Beautiful. It's yellow and green for spring. So
oh,
that's beautiful, Thomas.
I want that.
So welcome spring, and this is a Sunday that we are focusing on Lent, which is a time of self-reflection. We will first go through our announcements. Redwood Community Church announcements and upcoming events. Next Sunday, I hope you will be sure and be here. Aya Suhama, who is the head monk at the Charlotte Buddhist Monastery, will be here to talk to us about how we can find inner peace. And I think that is something during these very trying times that will be beneficial to all of us. She has spoken at Wedgwood once before, a couple of years ago. And if you remember her being here, then you remember a wonderful service with her. So we look forward to her being here next Sunday. So please plan to join us. And the big day's approaching, May the 1st, Wedgwood regathering, when we will gather in person at the Enclave, and we will also have a hybrid service of live streaming and Zoom for those who cannot attend in person. But if you can attend in person, be sure and come. It's going to be a very fun-filled morning and an inspirational morning as well. If you remember a couple before COVID, we had a water ceremony, and we're going to have a water ceremony again on our first day back. So if each person coming would bring just a small cup of water from a special place, from a creek, from a lake, from your home, from the rain, wherever you want to bring it. Home may be your special place, so just turn on the faucet and bring some water. Or maybe there's a creek or a lake nearby, or maybe you go to the beach. But wherever, just bring about a cup of water that morning with you. So as we go through April, thought I'd tell you that in advance so you should be thinking about it. We have a lot of exciting things planned for May 1st. Saturday, April 23rd at 10 a.m., we need to have a Wedgwood Spring Cleaning Day. And we need you. There's lots to do. We need to get our art hung back up again. We need to plant in front of the Enclave in those big, huge containers that we have. We need to kind of clean up the fire pit area and the front. We have a new pulpit that needs to be put together. It's acrylic, and we need someone that can come and put that together. There's lots of things that need to be done. So we hope that you will join us, and lunch will be provided. So come and let's have our spring cleaning day. And going into April, on April 3rd, Elias Ruckford, who came and spoke with us before, if you recall, retired cantor from Temple Bethel, he's going to be back, and he's excited about it, to talk about the Passover. And then on April 10th, Reverend Jude Geiger, Unitarian Universalist minister, has a poignant message about Palm Sunday. And then I will be doing Easter. And then don't forget, the 23rd is Spring Cleaning Day. And the 24th, I'm very excited about. Aruna Dekmadirhira, retired Buddhist nun who lives in Colorado, is going to speak about we are nature. The 23rd will be our spring cleaning day. The 22nd is Earth Day. So all of this falls right together to celebrate the earth. So we look forward to her message. And the Wedgewood Community Garden is up and going. If you are interested in volunteering with helping at the garden, contact Liz. I know that she does need help. All the food grown in the food community garden does go to the food pantry. And our food pantry is open and needs donations, financial and food. We have had an increase recently in clientele, so if you can help in any way, reach out to Liz. And the Social Justice Book Club is beginning a new book, so good time to join us. Thursday, March 24th at 7 o'clock. And the title of the book is Feminism is for Everybody by Bell Hooks. You do not need to purchase this book. Just contact the church and we will get the free download to you. Many ways to connect to us, to keep up with what's going on during the week, because there are lots of things shared on our Facebook page during the week. So, and if you want to learn more about Wedgewood Church, the website is the place to go. We do have a weekly newsletter with a lot more events. We try to keep it short on Sunday morning, so there's a lot more information there and a lot more details. So if you're not receiving the newsletter, just let us know and we will get you on the list. Feel free to contact Wedgewood staff at any time that we can be of assistance or help, or if you just want to share an idea or a suggestion. Myself, Ministerial Coordinator Leah Schwab, Community Outreach Coordinator, and Ashanti Nanu. You can use that phone number and you can use that email and just address whoever you want to get in touch with, and they will get back in touch with you, or you can call. Please give to support the ministries of this church community. As you see here, we have many different ways in which you can support Wedgewood, and you can also designate if you want that financial donation to go to the food pantry. But we do need your financial support. Thank you. This is a Sunday in which we celebrate Lent, which is a time of self-reflection. There's a poem called Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. The speaker tells readers they don't have to be perfect. We all need to remember that. We don't have to be perfect, nor do we have to beat ourselves up by wandering in the desert as if paying for our sins and mistakes. She says that instead we need to commune with nature more, because as we lament, the world is continuing on with sunshine and rain, rivers and mountains, and that the wild geese are flying overhead in the open sky. No matter who you are or how lonely you are, the speaker says you can always lose yourself and find yourself in the wonders of the natural world. These wonders call out like the squawks of wild geese, a sound that again and again puts people back in touch with their surroundings, with themselves, and makes them feel at home in their world. Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you about mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscape, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. It calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over again announcing your place in the family of things. And now our prelude, Be Thou My Vision, which is an 18th century Irish hymn, a prayer for protection and guidance. Beautiful, beautiful song, beautiful message for Lent, and just a beautiful video of, as Mary Oliver said, get back to nature. You'll find yourself in a good place to reflect. And now Betsy will lead us in our extravagant welcome.
Thank you, Melba. We are all welcome here. Welcome to a church that works for peace, justice, equality, and the care of Mother Earth. An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy. We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers striving to learn and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders. Like Jesus, we focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day. One of the ways we seek to heal the world and ourselves is through sharing parts of our story. We are all welcome here.
We are all
welcome here.
Yes, we are. Our words of wisdom this morning come from Matthew 4, verses 1 through 11, and I am going to read it from the First Nations version, which I always think is so beautiful. Jesus followed the guidance of the Spirit, who took him into the desert wilderness to be tested by the accuser, the evil trickster, snake. For 40 days and 40 nights, Jesus ate nothing. His body became weak, and his hunger grew strong. When the evil snake saw that Jesus was weak and hungry, he came to him and whispered in his ear, "Are you the Son of the Great Spirit?" he hissed. "Prove it. Turn these stones into dry bread." "The sacred teachings are clear," Jesus said. "Human beings cannot live only by dry bread, but by all the words that come from the mouth of the Great Spirit." The evil trickster then took him to the Great Spirit's sacred lodge in the village of peace, Jerusalem. He set him at the very top, high above the village. "Prove you are the Son of the Great Spirit. Jump down from here," the evil snake taunted him. "Do not the sacred teachings also say his Spirit's messengers will watch over you to keep you from harm? They will even keep your foot from hitting a stone." "Yes," Jesus said back to him, "but they also say, do not test the Great Spirit." Once more, the evil trickster took him to a high mountain and showed him all the great nations of the world with their power and beauty. All of these I will give you, the snake said smoothly, if you will highly honor me and walk in my ways. Get away from me, Jesus responded, for it is written in the sacred teachings, the Great Spirit is the only one to honor and serve. The evil trickster could think of nothing more to test him with, so he slithered away to wait for another time. And now we have our celebrations and concerns. We want to always remember our friend Donna Carter as she faces many health challenges. Are there others that you would like to share today? We want to remember Brad as he continues to heal. Are there others?
Still asking for prayers and thoughts for my friend Dolores Fingerwright in Dover, Delaware. She's still going through a serious bout with this third bout with COVID.
How long has it been, Miss Connie?
Well, she contracted it last in December, but she's had many other problems since then as a result of the COVID. She's fallen 3 times. She's had 2 brain bleeds. She'll never probably, and I shouldn't say that. She loved teaching, and I'm not sure that that'll happen again in the capacity in which she was serving.
Is she still in rehab or home?
No, she's in rehab. She's been moved 3 times. If if you're ill, going to the hospital only should be when you're really ill, because it's pathetic.
That's so sad.
And I thank you for prayers for my grandson. I'm a typical grandmother. My grandson is in graduate school, but since I guess the interest in the Ukraine, they called him to complete his military training, and I'm about to have. I asked him, "Do you have to shoot a gun?" He said, "Of course, Granny. I've got to practice." So I was a nervous wreck. I was a nervous wreck, but he's done well. Thank God. Thank God.
What is his name?
His name is Ellerton William Vaughn Brown. My daughter named 2 of her kids with the longest names in the world.
Ellington, all right.
Actually,
Any other?
he was born on Duke Ellington's birthday.
Oh.
My daughter's godfather did his PhD thesis, because he's in music, on Duke Ellington. So my grandson thinks he is a relative of Duke Ellington.
I like to celebrate my 59th birthday that I had on March 17th. I am pleased to have made it around the sun one more time, and I'm thankful,
Happy birthday, sweet friend. I'm sorry I missed that. I would have blew it up on social media.
Oh, I haven't been on social media for about 2 weeks, and I've been like detoxing from it. And it feels good because it feels like there's less clutter in my brain. And so I'm thankful that I have my family intact, and I'm thankful, humbly thankful.
And we know we want to remember everything involved in the war in Ukraine.
Everything.
Ukrainians, the countries of Poland and Hungary taking people in. And I just read yesterday that Canada has really done some marvelous things, welcoming them and making it easy for people to come to Canada. It is posted on my Facebook page. If you haven't seen that, you need to read it. And if you haven't written that email that we talked about last week, and it was in our newsletter this week, that Ben Snyder had asked us to do to the Border Patrol. Please, please do. And if you've written them once, write them again and tell them you're still waiting, because that is an urgent situation. And to me, it makes absolutely no sense that a family in Ukraine has family here that they can come and live with and stay with, and we won't let them come. I don't understand that. And it's just a simple thing. So please write them and write them again. Sometimes I write people 2 or 3 times about something I'm upset about, and it needs to be changed. Right, Connie? We don't let up. We don't let up on them. So please, if you haven't done that, that's a very easy thing to do. It's in our newsletter this week, or you can message me and I'll give you the information. And share that. Share that with friends, because it's so simple to do. Any other celebrations or concerns this morning?
I'd just like to lift up my grandmother, Christine Underwood. She's in the Atrium Hospital in Pineville. She's had a colon infection. I talked to her this morning. She's doing a lot better, but she's one that doesn't really get sick. So I just like to lift her up in prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Raquel. We definitely will. Any others?
I just want to mention that Naj and my daughter Selah are doing very well in their new apartment. It's a very nice new apartment. And this week they're going to have some new furniture come. So I'm so excited about that. Yeah, I'm really excited about they're going to have some new beds and new dining room table and coming. So everyone's sort of just pitched in and just so they can be settled. Once they're settled with new stuff, you know, they're good for a long time. So I'm excited that they're going to have a nice place and new stuff, you know. It's nice to get new furniture. It's okay to get used furniture. I'll take used furniture too, but if you can get something brand new, then that's even better.
Yes.
And I'd just like to say I apologize for not being able to come to the gathering last Sunday, but I'm also very thankful that I survived my daughter flying in at 1 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, and then flying back on Monday at 6 o'clock. It was a whirlwind weekend, and I did most of the driving because I don't like my daughters driving.
Well, we're glad you're here today, Connie. And if you missed last Sunday, please go back and listen to Ben Snyder. If you want to just scroll ahead to where he speaks, you need to hear what Ben Snyder, immigration attorney, has to tell us. We learned a lot. We learned a lot, and yet we are sitting among some very knowledgeable people. But you need to hear his message and what he shared with us. So take time to go back.
I've heard him about several years ago, but he's an excellent speaker.
Yes, he is.
He is, and he's an amazing attorney, and he does so much work for free for people that just don't have any money. I know I've referred several people to him that, and even one of our Wedgwood members, if you all recall, he helped and no charge. So he's just an amazing man, but he really enlightened us to a lot of things. So be sure to go back and listen. Any others? We'll have a few moments of quiet time, prayer, meditation, and reflection. Amen.
Amen.
And now, if you have any young folks around that you want to bring to join us, although we are all young at heart, and this is a message for all ages, so it's not just for the children and the young people. So please, if you have any young people, bring them to join us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Say it loud. Say it loud.
Good morning.
Good morning. Did you have a great time in Florida? I'm sure
Good time
you
in Florida?
did.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of that great big swimming pool. I bet you had a good time there. Well, did you know that today is the first day of spring?
First day of spring.
First day of spring. And I love spring. All the flowers start to come out and everything gets turns green. But there's one thing about spring that I kind of dread. Spring cleaning. It's time to clean up from the winter. And you know, we're having a spring cleaning day at Westwood Church on the 23rd, but we're going to make it fun. It's going to be fun. But cleaning up my house, it's kind of hard to make that fun. But I go through the closets and try to take some clothes out that I don't wear anymore to Goodwill, or maybe some shoes that I just have no soles left. I throw them away. What else do we do when we spring clean?
What else did we do? We were talking about that the other day. What else do we do when we spring clean?
What
were you doing yesterday with mommy?
planting flowers.
He's planting vegetables for the garden.
Yes, that's part of it.
Yep.
Anybody think of anything else?
We clean the windows because they're all messy from the dust and everything. We clean the inside of the windows. We clean this the stoves and inside the ovens.
Yes. And we sweep and we dust.
Mm-hmm.
We do lots of things to clean up the house and spruce the house up. And I like what you said about the windows, so we can see out and see the world better. And that's kind of like the season that we are celebrating at church right now that we call Lent. When we are thinking about ourselves and how can we kind of do some spring cleaning with ourselves? What are some things that maybe we need to sweep away or we need to get rid of so we can see the world more clearly? That we do that maybe we want to stop doing or not do, or maybe there's some things we need to do that we're not doing. I can think of some health things I need to do that I'm not doing. And one is going for a walk every day in this beautiful weather. That is just no excuse. So that's something I want to change and start doing. But what are some things maybe you want to either start doing better or stop doing?
I was just asking. I don't think he understands the question. Do you want to do something different with yourself?
Well, I can think of something when my children were young, and maybe you all can too. Every time I said, you need to go brush your teeth. Oh, it was whining, didn't want to brush their teeth. But even after the whining, they ended up brushing their teeth anyway. So all the whining was a waste of energy. So maybe that's something we need to stop doing is whining about things that we have to do because we got to do them anyway. You think, Gavin, that might be one?
Yeah, there's some things he needs to work on. Well, that's one of the things when you ask someone to do something, you don't go like this. Oh, yeah. Okay, you can't have that attitude. I said, no, straighten up, have a better attitude. Come on, just straighten up, so you have to work with that. Yeah, he's doing pretty good though, for a little guy.
And I know bedtime sometimes can be challenging. My grandson doesn't want to go to bed. He wants to stay up and play. But the funny thing is about my granddaughter, she's always ready to go to bed. And when you say to her, she's almost 2, it's time for a nap or it's time for bed, she says, bye-bye, bye-bye. She is a pleasure to put to bed. But the grandson, he's a different story. He's got things he wants to do and he doesn't want to go to bed at night. And he's kind of gotten out of the routine with the school situation. So I think there's probably lots of things that we all have as we think about this time of Lent and this time of spring cleaning that maybe we need to change about ourselves. Anybody else think of anything?
Yeah, I can think of a few things. I think with spring cleaning, self-cleaning, making sure that you're taking an inventory of how you feel every day, as several times a day if you need to, and assessing the things that you need to do to be a strong person and enjoying this weather, because the sun does give you better energy, and getting out, and since it's not as cold, just sitting outside a little bit more so that your body can really connect back to nature for peace.
Yes. Yes.
I agree. And my sweet friend here, we decided if we're going to take roles that she's going to be my niece because there's 20 years between us. But anyway, she came up and most everyone that knows me knows I had Michael's voice for 6 years after my son died. And I made a decision to change the aura and everything in my office to more of a sunrise and moon scape and a Zen place, because I want to start doing yoga tomorrow and I have a plan, and I'm so stiff and I didn't realize how it crept up on me, the lack of flexibility. So it's kind of like, I feel like this in the fall too, right? So the beginning of the season, we have another chance to kind of feel like we got a fresh start. So wish me luck. Hopefully I don't strain nothing.
I'm gonna be, what I'm changing is similar to what you're doing, Bets. I'm focusing on my inner self because that's where all the chaos is, So I'm intentionally doing that, and I'm going to a workshop. It's for 3 days, the whole day, each day, and I'm even renting a hotel room so I can be away from the family, so I can just be open and free. And if I need to cry or talk about things that I might not want them to hear, so I'm intentionally working on the inside, which I haven't done in my entire life.
Wonderful. Well, as we go through this week and spring, whether you want to call it spring cleaning of ourselves or whether you want to call it Lent, let's think about these things. And as Gavin said, open those windows, clean those windows so we can see ourselves and we can see the world a little more clearly. And now, it is my pleasure, as always, to introduce our dear friend and Wedgwood member, Thomas Hanson, who is going to share his personal story and reflections on Lent. The new normal, let's make it happen.
Good morning. I started writing this on March 2nd. I want it to be a little upbeat. I know it's hard to be upbeat in the context of the Ukrainian tragedy, but I think we have to try. After I volunteered to give another Wedgwood talk, Melba suggested that a tie into Lent would be nice. We are in the middle of Lent. I was raised as a Lutheran, so I didn't know much about Lent. I did some research. Lent is celebrated as a commemoration of Jesus's 40-day journey in the wilderness. The start of Lent is defined in terms of Easter, which is the first Sunday after the first full moon after the vernal equinox. Lent includes the 40 days prior to Easter, not counting Sundays. It's actually 46 days from Ash Wednesday till Easter. There are 6 Sundays between the 2 dates. And we should note that today is the vernal equinox. I don't think Jesus took Sundays off in the wilderness. I tried to find the relevant scripture. I actually cracked the Bible open and didn't find it anywhere near the parts leading to the crucifixion. I Googled it and found references to Mark 1 and Luke 4. The 40-day journey started right after Jesus was baptized, which was probably something like 4 years before his murder in Jerusalem. Here's some text from Mark 1, 9-12. In those days, Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee and was baptized by John in the Jordan. And just as he was coming out of the water, he saw the heavens torn apart and the Spirit descending like a dove on him. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my Son, the beloved. With you I am pleased." And the Spirit immediately drove him out into the wilderness. He was in the wilderness 40 days, tempted by Satan, and he was with wild beasts, and the angels waited on him. Wow. The text in Luke also refers to dove. If that happened to me as a young man, I would want to walk around and think about it too. Both texts refer to the wilderness, not the desert or any other specific place. Neither Mark nor Luke knew Jesus at the time of his baptism, I think, so he must have told them. I think the wilderness could be metaphorical, a state of mind, the place where wild things are. I had my own wilderness, but it took me a little over 2 years to get out of it. That Jesus did it in only 40 days is remarkable. The day that Jesus emerged from the wilderness marked the start of a new normal for much of the world. Whatever you believe, I think you'll agree that Jesus, his friends, and even his enemies were game changers. The details of the modern definition of Lent seem like the result of the standards committee. The Pope wanted a standard, and after some discussions, he got a proposal that seemed to make sense. And so it is. It's a rule of convenience. Why we associate Lent with giving up something, I still don't understand. After more than 40 years, I quit smoking in 2012. If I hadn't, I wouldn't be talking with you this morning. I quit with the help of Chantix. Coincidentally, it was during Lent, but I didn't at all think I was giving up smoking. I was escaping from it. During that time, Rox broke a bone and wound up in the hospital. One afternoon, her son and I broke her out for a ride. I brought some cigarettes, but when I offered them, she declined. She said she was done with them now. We were in a new normal, and it wasn't a bad thing. Cigarettes generate three things: smoke, ashes, and butts. For years, we would tell each other to watch your ash, no more. Besides rules of convenience, like drive on the right, there are rules of equity, like do not kill people, and rules of indulgence, like no liquor sales on Sunday. I wish the commandments had included do not wage war and do not enslave people. Some people don't get it unless it's written out. Some never get it. The pandemic has been like an extended Lent. Most of us have modified our routines to ensure the survival of ourselves and others. I also think many of us have reassessed our priorities and values. I know I have. For some years, Rox and I would meet at a bar, the McClintock, after work. It was our rule of indulgence, but it was also our little social club. We got to know the owner and the late afternoon regulars quite well. That came to an end in 2007 when she was fired because of failing eyesight. Curiously, I rarely went to bars when traveling, which evolved to about 40% of my time. Instead, I would find somewhere to buy a bottle. At Wuhan, our convention center had been Mao's compound. The Chinese repurposed it after Mao died. After I got in and unpacked, I asked the clerk at the front desk where I could buy some liquor. He gave me instructions. It was only a couple of blocks, so I walked. At the compound gate, there were a half dozen guards that looked at me very strangely. I'm sure they checked to see if my foray was okay, but they let me pass. I'm pretty sure they put a tail on me, though. I was there as an ITU representative. The ITU is a UN treaty organization, so I might have had a kind of diplomatic status. Even though it was Sunday, the store was very busy. Customers were all touching the things they were considering buying. There were also a lot of guards, maybe one for every 8 customers. I got my bottle, paid with plastic, and left. It was quite an experience, one that I wouldn't have had if not for my rule of indulgence. When I moved to Charlotte, I toyed with going to bars again. There's one called Smoky Joe's about 2 blocks away from my apartment. It's kind of a dump, but popular. McClintock was no palace, but it didn't have uneven floors. Anyway, the pandemic came along and put a kibosh on that idea. The other thing I found my first months at Charlotte was Wedgwood. This was quite by accident. I had often prayed, but rarely went to church. I didn't care for the unidirectional style of communication in most churches. I didn't feel this was the case at Wedgwood, so I decided to engage in a social experiment by continuing to participate. Wedgwood and its associated activities like book club and food pantry are my new social club. My horizons are broadened by getting me to think about things outside of my box. I would rather donate to food pantry than some unknown bar owner. I doubt I'll be back at the bars as a regular. The pandemic created an opportunity to find a new normal that could be better than the old normal. We should embrace this opportunity. It may be quite a while before another one comes along. Okay, let's make it happen. See you next week.
This
I
song,
love that, Thomas.
that's beautiful.
Good stuff. I always look forward to listening to you, Thomas.
Oh, thank you.
So while I sing this song, I'm going to sing this song real slow, and so you can meditate on the words. And while I'm singing this song, I would like for you, as well as myself, to think about the changes that you're going to make, or to think about the change that you want to make, or trying to make, or working on, and just think about you in a positive light. Okay? Think about it. I have changed, healed, free, delivered. I found joy, peace, grace, and favor. I have changed, healed, free, delivered. I found joy, peace, grace, and favor. Right now is the moment. Today is the day. I have changed. I have changed. And I waited for this moment to come, and I won't let it pass me by. before your presence came and changed me. Sing with me. I won't go back, can't go back to the way it used to be before your presence came and changed me. All my shame, guilt, sins are forgiven. No more chains. Feel my past. It's over. So right now is the moment. Today is the day. I'm gonna change. I wanna change. I waited for this moment to come, and I won't let it pass me by. Sing with me. Can't go back to the way it used to be. Oh, your presence came and changed me. I won't go back. I won't go back. I can't go back. I don't want to go back. So I won't go back. Can't go back to the way it used to be before my God came and changed me. Oh, I won't go back. I won't go back before your presence. Oh, it changed me. Oh, I won't go back. Can't go back to the way it used to be. Oh, your God, my God has changed me. Sing, y'all. I
Can't go back
to the way it used to be before your presence came and changed me. I won't go back. I'm ready now. Oh, you come and change me, and I'm ready. I won't go back.
Yes.
Wow.
So beautiful.
I
Wonderful.
did it again, Ashanti.
Beautiful, Ashanti. And now Donna has our benediction.
I recently heard someone say a survey about people's fears resulted in somewhat surprising results. Number 1 on the fears list was public speaking. Number 2 was death. That means most people at a funeral would rather be in the box than at the podium. One of our values at Wedgwood is telling our individual stories. We are thankful today for Thomas's story and the way he celebrates his journey. So in keeping with Thomas's message, the benediction today comes from Sister Joan D. Chittister. I celebrate myself, the poet Walt Whitman wrote. The thought is so delicious, it is almost obscene. Imagine the joy that would come with celebrating the self. Our achievements, our experiences, our existence. Imagine what it would be like to look into the mirror and say, as God taught us, that's good. Walk in the goodness of God during this Lenten week. Amen.